won and has destabilized confidence in its stock market.
South Korean financial assets were once considered strong by investors.
The U.S. Treasury Department has imposed sanctions on 35 entities and vessels that have been involved in transporting Iranian oil to international markets in defiance of U.S. restrictions.
Officials described an elaborate scheme orchestrated by Iran and its affiliates.
China has barred exports of critical materials used in semiconductor production in a move aimed at retaliating against U.S. restrictions on Chinese technological advancements.
The Ministry of Commerce announced that exports of gallium, germanium, antimony, and certain super hard materials to the United States are now prohibited.
A man convicted of first-degree murder escaped custody while being transported, according to the California Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact.
Fact.
Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Should not be interpreted.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
That's a fact jack.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
No.
Wake up, America. You've got a
No,
dog
I'd
that
say
needs
no
walking.
to that.
That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with
What
your
the hell
opinions
is
about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
You give me gas. Blah, blah, blah. And blah, 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 blah. You hate this band, don't you? Hello? Oh. Hey. Mic is on, dude. What's going on? What's going on with you? Oh, good morning, creepy people, creepers. It is Thursday, December 5th, 2024, a day that means nothing to nobody except me, because I just said it. Yeah, I think Saturday is a day that will live in infamy. If you remember why, you're old, like me. So here's what's going on. There's a guy, there was a guy. He's not a guy anymore. He is now worm food. His name was Brian Thompson. He was the CEO of United Healthcare. Somebody put a bullet in his ass and killed him and got away with it so far, walked away, disappeared into the concrete canyon of New York City. And it's got people on Twitter talking about it a lot. Now, there are two different camps here. People who are celebrating, yeah, and people who are crying crocodile tears for a guy who was in charge of one of the biggest healthcare companies, insurance companies in the world, especially in the United States, and has the record for denying the most claims due to pre-existing conditions, or looking for ways to not pay claims for people with health care problems. And people are just like, oh, he's a human being. Yeah. People who are celebrating this, why don't you get a life, get a heart? This guy had a family. You know what? Osama bin Laden was a human being. He had a family. Did you celebrate when he got fucking whacked? I think you probably did. Let me just put it in perspective here. Brian Thompson's greed killed 10 times, 20 times, 50 times the amount of people that American people that Osama bin Laden killed. Think about that before you go defending this guy. Now, I think this is the first shot in what I'm assuming is a class war, civil war, because we have reached a point where class war, the billionaires and the uber rich people are just spitting in the face of the working class and middle class and everybody else. They have the wherewithal to spend $6.2 million on a banana and then eat it in your face. To say, you know what, poor people, let them eat cake was a nice thing. Well, that was somebody who was displaying empathy. We're just saying, fuck you, starve. I just spent $6.2 million on a banana and I'm going to shit it out. And that's why you're seeing people just sneak up on healthcare executives, CEOs of healthcare companies, and put a cap in their ass. And I'm not going to cry any crocodile tears for the guy. Good riddance, you piece of shit. Sorry. That bothers you? Somebody, you people, I'm not celebrating. I'm just not going to cry any fucking tears over them. I would love to see more greedy bastards who people are dying because of their greed. I would love to see more of them get whacked. And I would love to see people get away with whacking them. Call me a cold-hearted asshole. That's where I stand on the issue. Fuck these healthcare guys who are really bankrupting people. Listen, you pay your premiums, and then they go out of it. They have departments that are dedicated to find ways not to pay your claim when something goes wrong. It's a scam. And this guy's been doing this and getting rich off it and keep giving them, not just him, but everybody in that business, keep giving themselves like big bonuses and insane salaries, and then looking for ways to not pay your claim and hiring people to investigate and find a way to not pay their claim so we can get rich. We can get richer. And then they get shot. And then you want me to cry tears for them. Again, keep in mind, I bet all of you, or at least 99% of you, celebrated when bin Laden got killed. Why not? He's a fucking enemy of the state, enemy of American people. This guy was not, he's worse. He's worse. He killed more Americans. Think about that before you, poor guy, poor family. Fuck them. Sorry. Hate mail is open. info@minddogtv.com. Send the hate mail. And should I get whacked here today? You probably celebrate that, right? So the hypocrisy is just ridiculous. Now, we are going to, I'm going to play a commercial. Now, I'm going to say the sponsors don't always endorse the opinions expressed on this program, especially mine. When I say something like that guy, Brian Thompson, deserve what he got. The sponsors are not on board with that. So don't hold that against the sponsors of this program. So maybe I should go easy with something like this and just chill out a little bit, right?
Mind Bloom is helping people achieve life-changing clinical and personal breakthroughs, alchemizing both the psychedelic medication, psychiatric care from psychiatric clinicians, coaches we call psychedelic guides, and a lot of content and meditations and programs into this really transformational experience that, because it's delivered at home, costs a lot less and is a lot more convenient for people to receive.
Psychedelic. I'm all psychedelic. What's going on over here? Oh, good morning, folks. Now, we're all screwed up here. What's going on? Is that better? That's kind of better. In the room with me right now are Ron, the CEO of Kane Healthcare, Stephen, the CEO of Ortiz Healthcare, and Mr. I Just Got Here edition. Good morning.
Good morning.
Does he
Good morning. Yeah.
Oh,
good
yeah.
morning.
Oh, yeah.
Morning,
I just got here, and yeah, fuck yeah. What's the matter? What's that? You have issues this morning?
Yeah. I had issues with my constitution, but I'm done. I flushed. I washed my hands. I flushed, so I'm all good now.
Oh, that's a different kind of constitution.
It's the only constitution that matters right now.
Really? Wow.
Well, at my age, and at this time of day, yeah, it's the only one that matters. This time of day, I'm safe in my home. Yeah.
You notice how white Ron Kane is again. He's getting whiter, but every day.
That's what he was doing yesterday. He was out getting his white card renewed. He's got that new white man smell. He's got that new white man smell. Yeah.
New white man smell.
Yeah, he got it back.
I hate that smell. I really don't like that smell.
I think you mean the new Caitlyn Jenner smell.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, we're going to see. The Supreme Court is still out to see if people can get that smell back.
I'm not following. Bruce Caitlyn.
Well, Caitlyn Jenner. Wait a minute, is Caitlyn Jenner the one that used to be Bruce?
Yep.
Bruce. Yeah.
Okay, right. That's
before that's a gay enough name right there. You don't have to change it.
Before
Brucey.
When he was Bruce, he had a musk smell, and now that he's Caitlyn, he has a pheromone smell. So
yeah, but now Trump has a musk smell. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. He's got the musk stink all over him. Musk oil.
Right.
Yeah.
We have two guests coming on today, and I think this is Stephen's day. This is Stephen's day because our first guest is from New Zealand, and obviously he's going to sound like an Australian, but he's an Australian wannabe, like a Canadian sounds like an American to people down there, I guess, or something. Anyway, that's the first guest, and the second guy, it looks like Stephen as when he's my age. He is an old guy in a chair. So, so it's Stephen's day.
Ready.
It's Ortiz Day. What do you got there?
Tissue and lotion. Let's go.
I guess I should have done something like "Good morning, America" or Mind Dog TV. Yeah, minddogtv.com. Are you celebrating? Damn it, my screen refreshed. Are you celebrating something? I'm waiting for it to pop back up on my screen. Well, damn it. I think today is National Bathtub Day, but I'm not sure. I'm waiting to confirm that.
Well, it's National Celebrate Healthcare Executive Whack Day.
Bathtub Party Day. Today is Bathtub Party Day. So, today Celebrate Sheltered Pets Day and Discover Haiti Day. Not hate. We've done that all year round. I'm talking about the country Haiti, not hater.
Haiti.
Yes. And National Ninja Day. So sneak up on someone and stab them.
Oh, whoa. Well, so as far as this insurance guy goes, here's the thing. While, yes, I did see him get shot, I'm not convinced that's what killed him. The gun jammed. So to me, that looked like a pre-existing condition before anything else happened.
But the gun jammed on the third bullet. After the third bullet, the gun jammed.
Oh, was that the third shot? I thought that was the second or first or second shot. Okay,
well, they found 3 rounds. They found three shells. So I'm assuming he shot 3 times and I shot twice, took apart a bullet, and then left the shell on the ground.
There's no suspect. He just walked away. He used a silencer, right? Walked away.
Yeah, he had a silencer. He was masked up. He had no identifying marks.
Well,
all you could tell that it was a white guy. That was it.
It was winter in New York, so everybody's masked up, except for the anti-maskers. And this guy got away on an e-bike.
The way that dude was dressed, it looked just like from a movie, right? Like he had just a simple guy, backpack, regular looking dude.
What, you saw a video or something? I didn't see.
Yeah, there's a full video online.
Yeah,
I didn't see nothing.
Yeah,
why don't I see something? You guys see something? I don't see nothing.
It's
get your glasses checked. Although I don't know if you can max out your. I think your prescription may be maxed out. I don't know if you can get your glasses any thicker and not have neck support. But
I'm having problems with my glasses.
Yeah, just
on the gigs, they're a little loose and they fall. When I look down, they start to fall, and it's not a good thing. So yeah, but I don't know if you guys following because the people online are even like people I admire and like are like, oh, you guys, you should really care about this guy as a human being. Like, no, I really can't. I can't.
It's hard to care for a human being that doesn't care about human beings.
Right. The guy, and not just doesn't care, made a living out of getting rich off of denying people health care that they paid for, hiring people to kind of screw. Let's really hire a whole department of people to find ways to screw people over. This was this guy's job. And
well, if nothing else, we know that he got a golden parachute.
Well, listen, listen.
Or
I
don't know what you when you.
Now, look, I'm pro death penalty, but I'm also pro not killing like people that are just doing their jobs. However, in this particular case, the dude like authorized the deaths of thousands of people. Like, he's no different than Osama bin Laden calling in a terrorist attack. He's no different than the president blowing up a small village in Africa. He's no different than any of
Africa.
this.
Come on.
It happens,
Which
though.
village?
Like,
which village, though? It matters.
whichever one was sitting on diamonds and oil. I don't know. Pick one.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that movie. Is that Air Force One or is that with
I think he's talking about real life.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
After you see what that guy was making, no one cares about him.
You'd think with all that money. Well, no, to say nobody cares about it. There are, and people who are just like trying to defend him are probably living in trailers and all this stuff. This whole idea, but you would think with all that money he could have hired security, right?
He had security, but they were in the building, I think.
Guys, the dude authorized mothers and fathers to die and leave their young kids without parents. They authorized kids to die young. He authorized, old people to die before they should have. He authorized people to get treatment for something they could have lived through that did. Like, the dude's a monster. Like, even money aside, even if that dude was doing it in a volunteer basis, he's a fucking monster. Like, the money just makes it worse.
I'm not celebrating his death, but I am sort of ambivalent.
You guys fight it out. We'll wait.
I'm just saying I'm not celebrating his death, but I'm not celebrating his death, but I am sort of ambivalent towards it.
There you go. Claim denial rates by insurance company. United Healthcare, 32%.
Right, yeah, their biggest one. I think we just. Oh no, our guest is here. He just got moved down because of the graphic. I was like, well, we scared our first guest away this week. We didn't. We're gonna bring him in just 1 minute. But yeah, so I would like to get the shooter, now the guy who got away with it, he's probably not going to get caught, right? But I'd like if we could get him Elon Musk's coordinates. I wouldn't cry a tear over that.
I mean, the only way I feel like there's probably some high tech ways they might have a chance because they don't know if they have Spot Shotter in New York, right? So Spot Shotter can kind of help triangulate the shot. I'm sure they could probably triangulate a cell phone if he had one. They might be able to find a way to pin somebody there. But that dude was so smooth with it, except for his gun jamming. I mean, it looked like something out of a movie. He just walks up. The guy's walking down the sidewalk. The dude walks up between the cars, pops him, gun jams. He fixes it, finishes him off, walks away. Like, and then he runs across the street.
I'm a little jealous. I think you could assume that I'm a little jealous here. That's what I want to happen to me. I want somebody just to come up and I don't want to see it coming. I just want to. A guy probably died pretty quickly and painlessly. No,
he suffered. He suffered. He died on his way to the hospital.
Oh well, then I'm not jealous at all. Then I don't want the suffering. I just want to be offed. I want somebody to come up behind me and just turn out my lights like that.
And we gotta run this guy's numbers, see what his copay is before we get him to the hospital.
Yeah.
Matt,
so,
I'm sending you the video since you haven't seen it.
All right. How are you sending it to me?
I'm sending it to you on X.
Now, Steven, I have some exciting news for you before we bring our guest in.
Okay.
Last night on my way home from the gig, I saw a UFO, and I got it on videotape, and I'm gonna be sharing it later on today. but
I have a feeling this is a dick-shaped blimp in the air somewhere, but
no,
okay.
no, it looked like just a fireball, but it moved really fast, and it actually moved fast, stopped, and made a right turn.
Well, you'll forgive me if I am both skeptical and
I want
feel like you're yanking my chain.
I expect you to be skeptical. I would hope you be skeptical.
Well, no, I'm always skeptical.
I even want you to be skeptical.
No, I'm skeptical that you're trying to show me something cool and you're just trying to yank my chain and pull one over on me. But I will hold my judgment till it happens.
No, I'm not saying it. See, you're reading me wrong. I'm not saying it was aliens. I'm saying it was a UFO.
No. When I hear UFO, I don't assume aliens right away ever, because it could be 1,000 things before that. So
yeah, I've always been a believer in UFOs, Ian. I don't believe they're aliens, but I've seen plenty of things that I can't explain. Unidentified flying objects. I think they're all around. We have lots of stuff. I think most of them can be attributed to military stuff. Some of them to be natural phenomenon, stars shooting stars.
The amount that are considered unexplainable is under 5%. Under 5% of objects seen are unexplainable. Like, so 95 to 96%.
Did you forget to say
have a good explanation.
Did you forget to say point?
Huh?
0.5%. Under 0.5%. Under point.
It depends on your source.
0.0000005%.
Well, if you look at the Arrow report, it's under 5%. Or it's like 3%. It's a low number. Either way, the vast majority are explainable easily.
Now, you said vast a lot of times. What's the vast difference on those numbers that you're talking about?
We'll get back to that later. Let's introduce our guest now, and we'll talk UFOs later when Steven's not around. We'll just you guys ever see there was a Tom Selleck movie called Quigley Down Under?
Yeah, Quigley I like that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big Tom Selleck fan, but that was a great movie. Quigley Down Under was about an American who kind of like a sharpshooter guy who went to Australia. But our guest is a Quigley who is a down under, but he's not American. So there you go.
But he could be related to Tom Selleck, because we don't know how many kids he had while he was down there making that movie.
That could be, yeah, it could be. You know, he killed that Hans Zimmer guy from but
he didn't stay dead, because he came back to try to steal a bunch of bonds. You know,
right. So our first,
but that is one of my favorite. That is one of my favorite Christmas movies.
You know, as far as Australian westerns go, that's a good one.
As far as Australian spaghetti westerns go, that is one of the most spaghetti of all.
Australian spaghetti.
Australian spaghetti westerns.
I think it would be Vegemite, Australian Vegemite spaghetti or something.
You think they have Vegemite westerns? I don't know. We have to ask Mr. Quigley. He's the expert.
He's a New Zealander, not an Australian. So maybe, I don't know if they even have Vegemite. It's a long, I don't know. There's water in between. Vegemite doesn't carry well over water, right?
I don't even know how much water it takes to make a Vegemite.
Can we just bring him in now?
I'm gonna try. If GD would shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. I lost my temper. That's a rare thing. I don't lose my temper like that very often.
I'm sorry. I was reading my Constitution and said I had freedom of speech. So I was.
You mean Constitution?
Yeah, freedom of speech, Constitution.
The Constitution.
Yeah.
All right. David Mark Quigley overcame severe dyslexia by writing a book which became a bestseller and now has 4 more books under his belt, known as Mr. I Ching. I Ching, meaning
I think that's I Ching.
Well, when he was known as Mr. I Ching, that means the cash register is ringing over his books. Ka-ching, I Ching.
Well, that's how they say it down under. Yeah.
He's a licensed hypnotherapist.
Yeah, thank you, David. We really was looking forward to that one.
He brings ancient wisdom and modern challenges, helping individuals enhance their lives at peak performance. He's here now. Say hello.
Can you hypnotize Matt? Make him more like a human being.
Mr. I Ching, Mr. Ka-ching. Good morning, David.
How you doing?
All right. Look at you. You look like you're ready for the dojo. It's like you're wearing a gi or something.
No, not quite.
All right. So you're in New Zealand now.
No, Southwest Florida.
I was all excited to talk about how amazing this connection is that we get going halfway around the world. You're in Florida. Okay. Are you in the United States? Are you living in the United States now and not a New Zealander anymore?
Yeah, I left New Zealand in '96. So it took me 21 years to get my citizenship, but finally happened.
Wow, 21 years to get your
citizenship. When did it happen? When did it happen?
That would have been probably, so that was in, gosh, it must have been like 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a few presidential elections under your belt.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not sure that this is the latest book I'm showing here is The African Lion or African Lion.
That'll do.
Okay. That by the basically that's the reverse of what we call GD here. We call him a Lion African, but it's kind of the same. Anyway, wildlife guy, but also an I Ching guy. I mean, your books are all about.
Second funniest thing he said this week. That is the second funniest thing. Wow, you're like 2 for 98 on humor this week. You're getting better.
What was the first thing? I said something funny this week?
Yeah, you did. And I can't remember. I was shocked afterwards. I did laugh.
Anyway.
Actually, I did mark it with a B, but I haven't gone back to look at it.
Yeah. So now is the I Ching stuff you do related to the authorship stuff, or that's just a coincidence or a side?
No, it's a bit of a coincidence. I've got sort of 4 specialties. So I've got a very specialized talent when it comes to environmental contamination, that I invented a process that nobody else can do. So that keeps me busy. But I think we're really here to talk about my books. So, and how I wrote.
Actually, we'll talk about everything. We'll talk about everything and anything you want to talk about. It's all about you, even though we keep interrupting.
Yeah, okay. We'll put the book up there and a link to your website, davidmarkquigley.com. And people can go there. Now you have four different books 4 different series, right?
Well, it's the African series. So so I suffered from severe dyslexia growing up. Quite a bit of abuse and all that sort of stuff. Couldn't spell, never passed an English test in my life. Thought I was going to end up working on the land as a farmhand, but ended up traveling overseas and opened up a whole new world to me. So I decided to go back to New Zealand and sort out the dyslexia. And that's when I studied for and got my diploma in clinical hypnotherapy. And I started a practice there, and it morphed into peak performance. But along the way, I decided to write about my travels to try to get over dyslexia, because I couldn't spell to save myself. And once I got my diploma, I thought, what the hell am I going to do now? Because I had to write these personalized therapies and inductions for the people that started coming to me. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So I thought, okay, I better learn how to spell. And I thought, okay, best way to learn how to spell is to write a book. And so the first book I wrote really sort of followed my travels around the world and fell in love with it. But along the way, it sort of helped repair the dyslexia, turn from a handicap into a blessing, and I've never really looked back. So a lot of my success is credited back to writing, and so I still do it to this day. I've got a 5th one that I've finished, which I need to get published. I've got a 6th one that is nearly finished. I've got a 7th one, which is actually about the I Ching, which is nearly finished. And I've got an 8th one, which is published, which is about my specialty in the environmental contaminations, which is mycotoxins. So
wow.
My father had dyslexia. Well, actually, a meandering penis. But it's dyslexia. I don't know if the two are related because they have similar roots. But
Right.
You don't know if you and him are related.
That's true. We could be because my father had a meandering penis,
Right.
and he went down under many times.
Severe dyslexia. Now, what does that look like? Because I think I have dyslexia. I often like write words backwards, and I have not been diagnosed, but I think I do have it. What does it look like?
Well, it's like I can't break words up into syllables. I still can't to this day. So I was always very right brain dominant. So very intuitive, very good with spatial reasoning, that sort of stuff. But I couldn't spell to save myself. I could hardly read. So what when I started writing, it was a bit of a struggle initially, but through a process of neuroplasticity, it helped repair some of the left side hemisphere problems that I had. Getting smashed up against a wood wall will do that to you. But so I used to have trouble visualizing words and figuring out how they fitted together, but that seems to have repaired. So I still can't break words up into syllables, but now the way that I spell is I just have a huge reservoir of words that I already know what they mean and how they spell. And so the way it affects me is if I come across a word that I've never seen before, it's like putting your car in neutral and stomping your foot on the gas, and that's what happens to my brain. It just goes into overdrive and I freeze.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, I never passed an English test in my life. I never read my first book until I was 23, and yeah, now it's sort of.
So I'm curious, did you decide to write the book thinking this might help your condition?
Basically, yeah.
That's kind of it seems at odds because it seemed like it would be an exercise in frustration. Like this is just going to be, it's just going to drive me crazy. I'm going to try to do something that it aggravates my condition in order to deal with my condition. No.
Well, one of the things I've always done for the last 30, 35 years is I've always written down questions. At the end of the day, before I go to sleep, I'll write out a question and don't expect an answer, close the book and, go to sleep. And so one of the things that I was asking back then is, how do I get over my dyslexia? How do I succeed with this diploma I've got? And so one of our biggest handicaps is our conscious mind. And so it always gets in the way. And so if you can use your subconscious, it'll guide you to your success or the answer to any question that you got. If you can articulate a question, you already have the knowledge to have it answered. And so that's what I did, and that's where I was guided. It's like, do I really want to write a book? Well, let's see if I can for a startup, and let's see if it does help with this problem I've got.
And so what you're basically writing about is these wildlife things, and you have a foundation for wildlife. Do you ever, is there any inclination or any, I don't know, just drive to write about the other thing? Because you're known as Mr. I Ching, and using Chinese, ancient Asian techniques for, I don't know, whether it's relaxation or figuring things out and leading a better life. Any inclination to write about that, or are you just going to stick with the wildlife?
No, I'm just about finished with a book on the I Ching.
I Ching, and I'm saying it I Ching. I'm wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. You can.
That's okay. When I corrected him, he ignored me. Thank you for correcting him. It has to come from a white guy in order for him to believe it.
I don't listen when you talk. Wait, you said
that's
something?
what I just said.
I wasn't listening then. I know your lips were moving, so I thought you must be saying something. But
yeah, I mean, I've finished one non-fiction book, and I've written another half. I'm nearly finished another one about the way that I I've used the I Ching for, I was introduced to it about 15 years ago. And up until the end of 2022, I ran the largest asbestos consultancy in the Southern Hemisphere. And so it was a long commute. I was living in Florida, but I was traveling back and forward. And I credit the wisdom of the I Ching. I just used it for myself and how to structure the business. And, you know, it guided me to create an incredible business, which I ran down there for 10 years.
Wow.
So in that period, I did over 200,000 asbestos samples. And when you average about $100 per sample, you can figure out, you know, you extrapolate that out to, and that was just one area that I basically, the business covered. We did sampling, we did surveys, we did removals and what have you. So, and I credit the I Ching to structuring the business in a way that prospered incredibly well.
It's
I feel so awkward now, because in the 90s I was part of a radio show, and we had a segment called Pot Philosophy, and one of the guests, Reverend, actually he wasn't a reverend back then, he was just Jelly Roll. No matter what the question was, he would quote the I Ching. And now I feel like if I'd been listening to him and remember, you know, all the stuff, no matter what you asked him, he quoted, the answer was in the I Ching. And if I had listened to him, I could have turned out as successful as you, as opposed to as successful as me. I feel bad now, like I've wasted all those years.
Yeah.
And all that wisdom.
Can you sum up I Ching in just a brief synopsis of what it really entails, what the idea?
Yeah, so it was written 3,000 years ago. 4 sages put it together. One of them being Confucius. We've all heard about Confucius. And basically what it is, it's not a religious philosophy at all. It's about human beings and how they interact. And so you've got your external environment that dictates to a large degree who you are, but also you've got your internal energy as well. And so the internal will dictate how you act as a human being. And that's it.
Okay. Now, where does the hypnotherapy come into all this? Is that related to the I Ching, or?
No, not at all. So when I ran my it was based on regression therapy. And so what I would do is I would work with these people who were already peak performers or who wanted to be. And I decided that, okay, if I can identify what's holding them back, then I can allow them to perform at higher levels. And so I would use a regression therapy. I'd take them back in their past to identify traumatic events or events that were holding them back. And if I could change that subconscious imprinting, then when the subconscious no longer acted according to that trauma or that negative experience, they could then act at a more productive peak level. And that's essentially what I did. And so while I was doing that, I discovered that the external environment markedly, and it could be somebody outside in their external environment, like the person who caused the trauma or whatever, or it could be their living circumstances or whatever. So the external environment markedly dictated how they acted at those times, but also their internal energy and resources and how they felt about themselves also predicated what ended up being that subconscious belief. And then the other thing that I learned is that we're all interconnected. And so because I dealt so much with the subconscious mind, I learned some pretty interesting things. And I had to put aside any preconceived notions. When you've got a CEO of a company sitting down and he's describing events where he's not actually what he is in this lifetime, going into a past life or another life, you start and correcting that issue resolved his problems. Then I stopped sort of determining that this was our one and only life, and I stopped deciding that, hey, there is more to us. There is more to this life than meets the eye. So we're all interconnected, and from what I learned through the regression therapy and that peak performance, it dovetailed pretty seamlessly when I was introduced to the I Ching 15 years later.
Wow.
Now, when you have a patient that's not responding to hypnotherapy, do you use that pointy stick back there to like prompt them?
Did you say patient?
Yeah, or a client. Yeah.
Right.
When you have a client that's not responding to hypnotherapy, do you use that pointy stick behind you to prompt them in the right direction?
I don't think I ever had an issue with with somebody responding. I mean, a case in point is you four. You've all lapsed into this hypnotic state very conveniently. So now I'm guiding you where you need to think and where you need to go.
So you don't need the pointy stick then. So what's the pointy stick for?
Oh, that's just a
lion tamer thing.
Yeah, it's a spear. It's actually a Zulu.
Yeah.
guy.
Somebody named Matt Timney is in the chat room. We keep talking about omega brainwave. I'm not sure what that is, but before you explain to me what that is, I'm sure you know what it is. But in the hypnotherapy realm, is the trance state real thing? Is such a thing as trance state, and does it matter if it is or not?
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Trance state.
Trance state, like when you go into a trance. Right.
Trance.
Right, not trans. Trans.
Well, it's just an older state of.
Confused too. I was like, "What does that got to do with the? What are you talking about?"
I'm talking about Massachusetts.
Are you saying we can hypnotize the gay away? That's a weird thing to say, man.
Yeah,
you could, in theory.
Well, yeah, it's an older state of consciousness, and so all you're doing is you're quietening down the conscious mind and allowing the subconscious mind to come forward.
Yeah, well, in brain in neurology, there is a huge debate whether it's a real thing or just like an imagined. Because in the brain, it's hard to measure trance. I'm going to say trance because it sounds like I'm saying trans when I say trance state. So there's a big debate in the scientific community on whether it's a real thing. What is alpha brainwave? Is that basically the same thing? Omega brainwave. I'm sorry.
I don't think there's such a thing as omega brainwaves, but
there are different. I mean, yes, you can measure the different alpha, beta, delta. There's different brain wave states that the human brain will function at. So, but you can get a very light trance state or very deep and heavy. So again, everybody is individual.
This is where I'm curious, like, does it even matter, all these brain waves, all things we're talking about, do they matter, or does just the results matter? In other words, if the power of suggestion is enough to facilitate the change that you're looking to facilitate, does it even matter if these brain waves, according, especially, talking about states and all that kind of stuff, does that even matter?
No, you're correct. I mean, it's if you can achieve an end, then it doesn't matter how you got there.
Right. Now you talked about past lives, and because when I was in hypnotherapy, there was a huge faction here who were interested in past life regressions and stuff like that. And I sometimes, I mean, very often, I felt like people wanted to believe and they had really active imaginations. How do you tell? Well, first of all, do you believe in past life? Do you believe in reincarnation? You must, right? If you go down that road.
Well, I've seen too many experiences with my clients to not believe there's something else, and I've got some really good results with them because of it. So yeah, there's definitely something else going on there, whether it's a past life or whether it's a parallel experience or what have you. It doesn't matter. Again, it gets back to what you said before. The means justifies the end.
Right. So, in what ways would you facilitate change through doing that kind of stuff? Because that always, because the reason I have a fear of airplanes is because in my last life I died in an airplane crash or something like that, and that helped me get over my fear. I mean, I'm just trying to. How is it useful to facilitate whatever kind of change you're trying to make?
Well, it may not be, but if it actually does, you know, when somebody is asked what is the cause of X, and if they go to a time in their childhood and they explain a situation and it's logical why they experience it, or they start describing a scene that doesn't relate to their current circumstances or current life, and by correcting certain beliefs around that and they get over the problem, doesn't really matter.
Wow.
Would you think would it be a problem if you like walk in and your parents and your dad's on the bed on all fours and he's yelling at your mom, butter me with Crisco and call me a mule?
That's very specific. That is very specific. No, it's Crisco.
I think you're supposed to hold your thumb when you do that.
And it's not, you don't butter someone with Crisco. You butter them with butter. You
I'm not sure what they're
Crisco.
into. I'm not judging what they're into. It's a transient state.
Did this happen to you?
Are we trying to get over a traumatic circumstance here, Ron, or what's going on? Or are we just like trying to figure out which knife we're going to use to butter them up?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like they'd use a spatula. I don't think a butter knife. I think a butter knife would take too long. You get like a spatula.
I say you swap it out for Pam and call it a day. But whatever.
I'm just curious, when I put this into Opus Clip, what's going to come out of that brief segment there?
Opus Clip is going to shoot itself and say, "Why do you keep doing this to me?"
I want to talk about the books, but I just want to kind of wrap up this segment. When in being a person who's lived in New Zealand and in Florida, very different cultures. I'm assuming it's very different cultures. I don't think the thing of such a thing as Florida man down under. But do you find that the belief systems we're more open or less open in the States as opposed to New Zealand or down under for these ideas of these kind of philosophies and modalities of self-help that you're talking about?
Also, what part of Florida are you in? Because that makes a difference. Because there's like 5 distinct sections of Florida with 5 different personalities.
Right. Well, I'm in Southwest, so Naples.
He's in the nice part.
So is there a difference in the acceptance of these kind of and the I don't know, openness to these kind of ideas that you're talking about?
Yeah, I think there is, but I probably put that down to the population. I mean, New Zealand's got 5 million people, and we've got hundreds of millions here in the States. So
yeah, just in Florida alone, I believe there's 18 million people, right? So that's
right.
Big difference in population. Do you think we're more open or less open?
I think you're more open, probably. Well, depending on where you are,
Wow.
in the US. I mean, there's some
Interesting.
pretty. Yeah, right. But by and large, I'd say you're more open, really.
Very interesting stuff. Now let's talk about the book, The African Lion, because all your books are basically animals, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
What compels you to write about the wild? Like we have Scars of the Leopard, The Last Rhino, White Gold, which is not necessarily about what is that, an elephant thing or an ivory?
White gold, ivory. So white gold is another name for ivory.
Okay, I did not know that. See,
Yep.
I've been educated here. White gold is
go.
another name for ivory. So, what compels you to write about that, and what are we looking at when we in this kind of book? Is it just is it a conservationist type of book, or is it a novel? I mean, what is the format?
Well, it's an adventure novel, so it's about aggressive aggressive wildlife conservation. So it's about, you know, rangers or wildlife warriors that are basically going to fuck up anything that tries to kill any human being that tries to kill or poach one of the keystone animals. So it's very aggressive. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of guts. There's a lot of retribution. It's all, you know, it's all what should happen to people who try to take on these defenseless animals.
I'm assuming, being a conservationist, and maybe this is too far a jump, but climate change. I'm assuming you are not a climate change denier. Are you?
No, I mean, when I say a conservationist, it's animal conservation, and I'm firmly on the side of an aggressive way of doing it. If you're gonna, you know, it's kill or be killed. So, and I'm just providing a voice for those animals that don't have one.
Right.
And so, you know, so this here is my registered nonprofit. So a percentage of all my book sales goes to the Wildlife Foundation, and I donate on behalf of my readers to wildlife conservation around the world.
And how is that? I mean, that's a good cause, and thank you for doing that. But how is that money used in a way that promotes conservation?
Okay, for example, the last book that I've written, which hasn't been published, is about trafficking of the most trafficked mammal in the world, which is the pangolin, the scaly anteater. And so the last donation that I sent out went to a organization in the Tiki Haywood Trust in Zimbabwe that that assists with bringing trafficked pangolins back into the wild. And so the money that I donated, or my nonprofit donated, went to GPS trackers that are put on these pangolins that are put back in the wild. So that's how that donation was used for animal conservation. So they could be tracked, knowing where they are, knowing that they're safe, all that type of thing.
Yeah. Now I'm interested because you kind of branding yourself as the I Ching guy, and it's so people who are gravitating towards your books, they're going to your website for this stuff about peak performance and decision making and all that stuff that the philosophy they use, or should your worlds be separate? Like it seems like your worlds are combined, the authorship and conservation. It doesn't seem like, I don't know, that I might be going to your website to look for books about conservation. I would be more interested in the I Ching stuff. I was just
at the moment we're rebranding, so there's going to be 4 distinctive areas. One is going to be to do with the environmental stuff that I deal with, meaning the environmental contaminations. The other area will be specifically to do with the the books. The other one will be the I Ching, and then the fourth one is going to be the Wildlife Foundation. So, yeah, good question. And so it's getting rebranded at the moment. So there'll be 4 specific areas that people can choose of what they want to deal with.
Right. I think we live in a time, and because I grew up in a time, we had Earth Day, and people were more conservation minded. Today, I feel like we're kind of, the pendulum is swinging the other way, and I'm kind of wondering about whether your books are preaching to the choir. Like by that I mean, the only people who are going to read them are people who are already on board with conservation efforts, but the people who need to read them, who don't care about the ecology or anything about the environment or the importance of preserving species and stuff like that, and not letting them go extinct, those people aren't necessarily going to read your book. Or maybe I'm wrong there. What is your take on that?
Yeah, you're wrong.
Okay.
No, so that
was not the first time this week, by the way.
They're pretty fast-paced action adventures. So no, it's not all about. I mean, this particular book starts in the Octagon in Las Vegas with an MMA fight. So that's where it starts, and it goes through the main character is that particular. He's an MMA fighter. He fell into it, but he began his life as a wildlife anti-poaching. But it's an action-packed adventure. So whether you believe in wildlife conservation or whether you don't, it doesn't matter. You're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of the book because it's just a fast-paced adventure, and you're going to learn something along the way.
Very cool.
And you're going to donate, whether you like it or not, because you bought one of the books to a wildlife cause somewhere in the world. Okay.
Interesting stuff. I mean, you have a lot going on there, and it's for the idea that I think it's an important thing. I mean, conservation. Any of the things that you talk about deal with species that are on the verge of extinction. I'm not sure about the African lion, but I know there are lots of tiger. I don't know, breeds that are on the verge. Are any of the animals that you're writing about in these kind of, are we dealing with extinction level type of?
Yeah, I mean we all, with the first one, the last rhino, which is actually free on Amazon if you download it on Kindle. So
right.
It's a novella more than a full-blown novel. These are the African lion, white gold, the African lion, scars of the leopard. They're epics. They're 150,000 words or whatever. But so they all deal. The species lost in our lifetime have substantially reduced. So, and you've got 20% of lions killed in Africa go to substitute for tiger bones, tiger wine, tiger, all this sort of stuff, because tigers are getting so scarce. They're now, the poachers are taking African lions to be able to supply the Asian market with remedies for tigers.
Wow.
Tiger wine, all that sort of stuff. And 20%, that's a pretty large number. So it's, and behind GD there, that's the pangolin, the most poached mammal in the world. And they're again, going to the Asian markets to for fallacy. They don't do anything, you know, for their scales and all this sort of stuff. I mean, it's appalling what.
Yeah. Well, I'm not an optimist for anything in the world, and I think it won't be long before me especially, is on the extinction list. So, to wrap this up here, are you an optimist for things getting better, or are you a pessimist like me and think we're headed for doomsday?
Well, the thing is, certain things are getting better, certain things are getting worse, but without taking a stance and doing something about it, then you can't really have a voice.
Right.
And so if you're doing something, you're putting money where your mouth is, that sort of thing, then yeah, sure, you can have an opinion and verbalize it and open, but without doing it, then it's a bit.
I hear you. I think part of the problem is trying to have conversations about this kind of stuff where people, have different opinions, and it doesn't feel like you're making. At least for me, I know it's very frustrating when it's really hard to have conversations. We're not listening to each other. We're talking past each other, over each other, and trying to make points about whatever we believe in. And I think we are at a point where. I think we're past the point where the human beings making more money at the cost of everything on the planet it's a majority opinion. Like, as somebody who was always a proponent of capitalism, I think the guardrails have come off, and we just don't care about anything when it comes to conservation, whether it's on a level of pollution or animal preservation or all these things. I just feel like it's an uphill battle that I think it's already lost, unfortunately. But hopefully somebody like you can change the world and make it a better place.
Well, I'm just making it easy for people to donate to wildlife conservation by purchasing a book, and that's it. They don't have to think further than being entertained. And if they're entertained, their money's going to go somewhere that's going to do some good. So, and it begins in your own backyard as well.
Cool. The book is the current series out, African Lion. You can find out about all the books at davidmarkquigley.com. You can find out about the Wildlife Foundation that he has set up there. Is there a donation link on the website for?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being part of the program and educating us a little bit about I Ching. And at least I know how to pronounce it now. And thanks for being here. Have a great day.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. And God bless.
Yeah. Bye for now. I Ching. Thank you for that. I Ching. Ron, you want to elaborate on this thing that happened to you with the Crisco?
Where did the butter hurt you?
Butter.
You're muted,
in the butt. I think it's time for news. It's time, and I believe
that is so rude. You ask Ron a question, he goes through all the trouble of finding the mute button on this thing so he can unmute. He opens his mouth, and you go, "Now the news."
Well, I think he was going to answer. I thought he was just like disregarding the question. I didn't see that he was going to answer. See, his voice is getting deeper. Did you notice that? His voice is getting long division. Yeah. Anyway, so the news is brought to you by Crisco. Butter up your dad's ass with Crisco.
China has barred exports of critical materials used in semiconductor production in a move.
That's what I call schlong division.
China China has barred exports of critical materials used in semiconductor production in a move aimed at retaliating against U.S. restrictions on Chinese technological advancements.
The Ministry of Commerce announced that exports of gallium, germanium, antimony, and certain super hard materials to the United States are now prohibited. Additionally, sales of graphite will be restricted. In a separate statement, a ministry spokesperson attributed the escalating conflict to U.S. political motives, accusing Washington of instigating the standoff. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
The U.S. Treasury Department has imposed sanctions on 35 entities and vessels that have been involved in transporting Iranian oil to international markets in defiance of U.S. restrictions.
Officials described an elaborate scheme orchestrated by Iran and its affiliates, which involved frequently renaming ships and altering their country flags to evade detection. The Treasury stated that this tactic enabled Iran and its accomplices to bypass sanctions while avoiding accountability for violating international rules. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Political uncertainty in South Korea has led to a significant drop in the value of the country's won and has destabilized confidence in its stock market.
South Korean financial assets were once considered strong by investors, but President Yoon Suk-yeol's unexpected declaration of martial law on Tuesday, though it was quickly rescinded, triggered widespread financial disruption both domestically and across Asian markets. The political unrest has undermined the nation's currency and stock market, with ripple effects harming investor confidence in the region. Benjamin Wright reporting.
You guys...
This is the latest news headlines.
A 22-year-old professional skateboarder and X Games competitor is facing charges after allegedly driving his Porsche the wrong way in Manhattan while under the influence, officials reported.
Cater Silla was apprehended around 2 a.m. Sunday on the Lower East Side, according to the NYPD. Police said his blood alcohol content measured .063 and observed that Silla displayed slurred speech, unsteady movements, and bloodshot eyes. Authorities reported Silla admitted, stating in part, "I have been drinking." Jim Kender reporting.
Authorities in western Massachusetts announced that a fingerprint from a decades-old taxi license application has led to the arrest of a suspect nearly 46 years after a double homicide.
The case began on November 19, 1978, when police discovered the bodies of Teresa Marcoux, 18, and Mark Harnish, 20, fatally shot near Route 5 in West Springfield. Hampton District Attorney Anthony Gallooni stated, Harnish's Dodge pickup truck was found nearby with bloodstains and a damaged window. Investigators determined that the pair were shot inside the truck and their bodies were later moved. Kevin Sanders reporting.
A man convicted of first-degree murder escaped custody while being transported, according to the California Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections.
Cesar Hernandez, 34, escaped from a CDCR-operated van en route to a courthouse in Delano, California. Hernandez had been serving a sentence of 25 years to life for murder, according to the Delano Police Department. Authorities reported the escape occurred at approximately 10:40 a.m. local time and issued a community safety alert to warn residents. Kyle Norris reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
I think South Korea got jinxed because I think it was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. They rated the types of governments in the country in the world. Authoritarian, communist, I think, socialist, and democratic. And we were rated as a democracy, as an unstable democracy. South Korea was rated as one of the more stable democracies in the world. Right. And then this happens. It's like, okay.
The martial law thing. He instituted martial law, but then quickly rescinded it. Like, all right, put the tanks in the street. Wait, call back. No, come back. I mean, that's just a little weird. You got soldiers marching down the street, and then all of a sudden you don't.
Well, at one point they were already busting into homes and shit before he shut it down. Like they had already started causing some havoc. Like it was wild.
Are you concerned? Are you worried?
The one thing that I was weirded out by was totally unaware of was that the North Koreans actually have a political party in South Korea. That was like new to me. I was like, what? I didn't even know that was possible.
Well, I mean, that's not.
We have a Nazi party in the United States.
I was going to say, if South Korea is a democracy, then they probably have, freedoms. So just like we have Nazi and communist parties here, they're enemies of the U.S., but
there's a difference. We didn't segregate ourselves from the Nazis. When the war ended, we didn't build a wall and say we're going to have North Nazi and South Nazi.
Oh, we did. Well, we didn't. They did.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's.
But so what I'm saying is, and since matter of fact, we embraced the Nazis into our culture. It's North Korea and South Korea. I mean, they had families that weren't even seeing each other. So to me, it was just. It's not that I'm not. It's not that I'm surprised there are not North Koreans in South Korea. I'm surprised there's enough of them to be a political party. Is what I'm saying.
I guess I see where you're coming from, because you're like, wow, you live in South Korea, you see how great it is. You really want to turn this into what you came from?
Why leave North Korea if you like? Right? Why leave North Korea if that's what you want? You've got what you want.
I don't like when you guys agree with each other. Could you find something to disagree about?
Okay.
I don't like white women. He does. We don't agree on that.
All right.
Well, see, and it's not that I like. I just. There's no race.
How do you feel about North Korean women? Are you both like turned on by North Korean women?
I just like women. It doesn't. I don't care about race.
I don't think.
Overall, I'll just, as long as they're.
When it comes to women, I don't care about race. The only thing I care about is gender, and consent. That's it.
Yeah, I'm gay for consent too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
But do you think this is going to trigger something? Do you think this is going to escalate beyond like a South Korea, North Korea?
It already has. It affected the markets.
Has it? That's what I was asking before. I don't follow markets.
My soy sauce prices went through the roof.
Yeah. Did you? Don't even try to get duck sauce under $1. Don't
even. You think duck sauce is bad? Oyster sauce? Get out of here.
You're right. You're right. I started substituting Crisco for oyster sauce. When my wife and I do our role play, I started substituting Crisco because oyster sauce is just way too expensive to use for that now.
How expensive is Crisco? I mean, it's got to be.
It's a dime a dozen.
A dozen what? Bottles, cans, bars.
We're not talking kitty supplies.
No, the white gold ivory thing. In Florida, I think white gold is not ivory.
No, in Florida, white gold was Crisco.
No, I think white gold is cocaine in Florida.
No, that's just in Miami area.
All right. I stand corrected. I sit corrected. I'm looking up the stock market and stock.
Yeah, it's affecting the Asian market mostly, not ours yet.
You mean like in New York City, the Asian market? There's a bunch of Asian markets.
Yeah. So if you go down to whatever neighborhood is the Asian market, also there's an Asian market in almost every major city.
You could tell I'm not a money guy because I don't even have I probably do have a stock app, but I don't even know how to use it. Right? I just want to see, are they up, down, all around? What's going on? We're not like looking at a crash or anything. Right?
I have a stocking app, and right now it's set on lace. Although Fishnet is doing really well.
What's the stock apps? I don't even know what it looks like on the iPhone. Steven, you're the iPhone guy. Oh no, you're not.
Yeah, I am. I have an iPhone.
You're a phone. Oh, well, I thought you got off the iPhone.
I returned it and got the new iPhone 16 Pro.
Look at you fucking trader, you.
Look, there's Mr. Fancy. I get the 16 Pro.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I really like that phone, the Google Fold, but the problem is I dropped it once and it fucking scared me because all the moving parts, and I was like, if I drop this too many times, I'm gonna fuck it up. So I need something with no moving parts.
I didn't know what. So looks like down 40
Are you
points.
a retard?
Dow Jones is down 40 points.
Ron, you have an iPhone too. Shut up.
I know. I do have an iPhone. That's why I
thought you said you had an iPhone too. That's a damn.
I think it's called ePhone.
I would never go back to a Android phone. I mean,
so if I Ching is Ching, why is an iPhone ePhone?
I mean, Steven, don't take this personal. Don't take this personal, but I moved you to my DTM list.
How's a guy on Social Security
my what?
Buying phones left and right? Like,
I moved you to my DTM list, so there you go.
What's that mean?
Dead to me list. Oh, dead to me.
You son of a bitch!
not ATM. Let's like ask him out.
What do I got to do to fix this? I'm not giving you head in January. That's not happening.
No, he's only giving head to Nazis.
December.
I will not. I'm not incestual. My grandfather's not on the list.
Oh, well, the last guy we had, I don't know if you know this, but he woke up with his father's dick in his mouth.
See, again, I've never been sexually assaulted or sexually interested in or by my family. So,
yeah, it sounds a little like.
How does it feel to be so unloved?
Yeah.
It hurts. Between the kidnappers didn't want me, family didn't want me, my ex-wife I didn't want her. But I'm saying overall it sucks.
I'm thinking Quigley should have regressed you to the point where you were, to find out what that issue is.
Yeah. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Anyway, back to you, Matt, and to our guest.
Well, our next guest is here. And I don't know. Maybe I should let Mr. E. Fenderson, introduce him. I don't know. What do you think? You think you're up to it? You seem like you're in a curmudgeonly, ugly mood today.
Really? I don't think my mood is any different than any other day that I have to work with you.
Oh,
I guess that is ugly and curmudgeonly.
I don't know. You didn't. When you first came on this morning, you didn't come over with "Good morning, America," blah blah blah, like you always do. You're like, "Oh yeah, I'm here."
Well, by the time I got here, everybody was already in it. I was late. I don't like being late.
Were you shoveling snow? Because
no, I don't like. I told you what I was doing. See, again, you don't fucking listen.
What you said something?
So I don't like being late. That's all. I don't like being late, and it takes me a while to.
I was shoveling snow.
I'm sorry, Ron. Go ahead.
Ron said something.
Last night I went to S Club, and there were about 20 people in the audience again.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
I almost showed up, but I was busy.
Were they lost? Were they were looking for directions?
No, but it's turned into such a great room. People come out for it, so it really forces you to actually be a comedian if you want to do well.
Now, do you have to sign up in advance? Do you have to sign up in advance or just show and sign up?
It's just sign up on site, or you can shoot Aaliyah a message and let her know that you're showing up.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
We've
put our open mic on last night.
We've chased everybody out of the.
When you get a chance, if you can shoot me the address and stuff, because I do want to show up there, to have a different audience and stuff like that. But if you get a chance.
Yeah. Are you guys doing? We got to get to the next guest. But are you guys doing like any kind of new stuff, new material on January 24th? Like, you got a whole new special written?
I'm working on new material. Yes.
Yeah, something different than this whole van stuff that you've been working for the last 15 years. It's just like
it's a new van
for a year.
You've been working on that.
It's a new van, so it's a new version of it. It's a new before it was like an Econo van. He's got a conversion van, so it's new material.
I'm thinking of having Landau back on the show as much. I know it gets Ian excited because Ian loves Landau, but I'm thinking about having him back on just to let him know that Stephen is doing all his material. All right, then. All right. Okay. Ken Kunkin is here. He's paralyzed while playing college football in 1970. Wow. 1970. You remember 1970, Stephen? You were around then.
I wasn't even a drip down my daddy's leg yet.
Ken Kunkin battles back from the depths of depression and despair, earned 4 college degrees, and it became a well-respected assistant district attorney. He's an author, and he's here now. He's here now. Let's welcome in Ken Kunkin. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you for not running away during all that silliness. And how do we do this?
You don't even listen. He can't run away, man.
Well, we're not wheeling away or leaving. We've had a tendency over the last month to be scaring guests away. They listen to this dopey banter and then they think, I don't want any part of that stupidity.
No, I'm here. I'm here for the long run.
Okay. Well, thank you for being part of the show. Now, you were a college football player, an athlete.
Right. Yeah, I played on their lightweight team. Cornell had a lightweight football team, and I got hurt making a tackle on a kickoff in a lightweight game against Columbia University.
You know, because I wanted to, there's the language in the bio somewhere it says about tackling problems or tackling, and I thought, well, that's a kind of like Stephen, by the way, is in a chair and he makes a lot of jokes about walking and stuff, and I thought the tackling stuff was kind of tongue in cheek about that. Was it intentional to kind of inject some humor into the situation?
Well, I've tried to tackle all the obstacles that have been in my way.
Yeah, that's what it said. Tackle the obstacles.
I'm a little jealous. I'm a little jealous that you've gotten to play football because I've never gotten to, but I've had two doctors separately walk into a room, look at me, and say, "Oh, wow, are you a football player?" Not realizing I had crutches sitting in the corner in a wheelchair in the car, and I'm just like, "Wow, thanks for reminding me that I couldn't do that, Dick."
Or maybe they just thought you fell from the stands.
I do look like the guy that's chugging beer, eating nachos in the stands, with my belly painted 100%. Yeah.
I want to bring up the book because the book is called "I Dream of Things That Never Were." That's a quote from like John Kennedy, right?
Close. What happened was when I was in the rehab hospital, not long after I was injured, I was invited to testify before a United States Senate Health Subcommittee chaired by Senator Edward Kennedy. And 8 days after my testimony, Senator Kennedy sent me a glass paperweight in the mail that had an inscription on it. That was a quote originally attributed to George Bernard Shaw. But Senator Kennedy told me that this was a quotation that his brother Robert Kennedy liked very much. The quote was, "I dream of some men see things as they are and say why. I dream of things that never were and say why not."
Very cool. So I stand corrected on that. Or I sit corrected. Robert F. Kennedy. That's close enough. I get point for knowing it was a Kennedy.
You had the right bloodline, just the wrong assassination.
Right, but it's more than just like a book about overcoming adversity, right? It's about it's kind of like a love story, isn't it? This book.
Absolutely. In fact, I've had a lot of people tell me they read it as a love story. And just to jump ahead, I was very fortunate to meet the absolute love of my life. Her name is Anna. She's actually sitting to my right, just off camera. So I have to be careful about what I say. But I married Anna in 2003, which was 33 years, almost 33 years after my injury.
Wow.
And what I'd like to add is the best part of my story is that when Anna and I were talking about getting married, Anna said that she'd like to have my baby, not just a baby, my baby. Now, keep in mind, at this time, I had been paralyzed for more than 30 years, and I was already in my 50s. But we decided to look into the various options, and we were excited to learn that through in vitro fertilization, it still may be possible for me to father a child.
Wow.
So we decided to pursue in vitro shortly after our wedding. And through the miracle of science, Anna became pregnant.
Very cool.
Now, it says you have triplets. So
you got it. I was present in the delivery room when Anna gave birth to triplets. We have triplet boys, Joey, Jimmy, and Timmy. They're now sophomores in college, and they'll be turning 20 years old in January.
Are they athletes?
They're martial artists. All three of them are second-degree black belts in the martial art Taekwondo.
Wow, very cool. Now, I'm just curious. Would you, because of your injury, would you be adverse to your children becoming athletes and football players, or is that just a thing that is a chance every football player takes, but it's part of athleticism? What's your take on it?
My boys never wanted to have anything to do with football. They would leave the room when I had a football game on because I still watch it. So they never even considered playing football.
Wow.
But it was important to me that they always be in good physical shape, and they have been. And as I say, they're into martial arts. They've also studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. and they're just all around great kids.
So they're stoners.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's a big part of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu culture, I think. It's like being a stoner.
Well, I wouldn't go that far for them.
Okay. All right. Now, being an attorney, I'm curious what your take on. Does the law even matter anymore? Are we living? Is there such a thing as the rule of law in America? We're seeing more and more people who the law doesn't apply to, and for people like me, it feels a little weird. Like, because I know the law would always apply to me, because I'm not rich and powerful, or I'm not somebody worth being above being above the law. What's your take on it? Are we headed towards a society where the rule of law means nothing?
Boy, I hope not. And I devoted 40 years of my life to working in the district attorney's office. So the rule of law to me is very important. And I know everybody in the district attorney's office believe that it's very important. We have a lot of dedicated people working in the criminal justice system. And it's important to see that the rule of law is followed by everyone.
But when we see more and more people who it doesn't apply to, and I think the overall assumption in America was always that nobody is above the law. And when we see people who are above the law, people who get off for various different reasons, but it just feels like the rule of law applies to me, but not to the rich and powerful, right?
You know, it's not perfect. No system is,
Right.
But we've got a terrific system. We work to make it even more perfect. And for the most part, it works pretty well.
Okay. Is this book, I Dream of Things That Never Were, is this your only, your first book, right? Or not?
It's my first and only book.
Will it be?
We're working on an audiobook version of it now. But yes, it's my first and only book. I started working on this book more than 50 years ago, shortly after my injury. So it took me quite a while to complete, but I'm very proud of it.
All right, very, very cool. Now, no ambition to continue down the authorship road.
Well, I've been working hard now to promote the book, but not to write an additional one.
Are you frustrated with the publishing business? I've had lots of authors on lately, and last night I had a CEO on she was talking about learning the ropes in business and things that came up to her, being able to recognize problems and come up with solutions. And then at the end of it, I asked her, well, now that you're writing books, have you noticed the problems within the current state of the publishing industry? And she just laughed at that, like, there are too many. Are you at all frustrated? I'm sure there were some eye openers along the way about what the insanity of what the publishing industry is like right now. Any frustrations with that?
Very. I was originally told that you must get a literary agent before you approach a publisher and get your book published. And my wife and I worked really hard trying to get somebody interested in the book. And it took quite a while, and we were not successful. But I was fortunate that I had a friend who published his own book through a publishing company named 12 Tables Press. And he sent my book proposal to his publisher. And fortunately, that publisher was interested. And that's how I was able to get my book published. But it was very frustrating when we were trying to get it published initially and looking for an agent.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Because the competition and now with people using AI apps to write books, the market is just so flooded. And how do you even get noticed when they're the comedians up above can relate to this? How do you even get noticed when there is 12 billion people and an 8 billion people planet who are publishing right now? It's crazy. So now, have you narrowed down the demographic for this book? Who is your target audience for this?
You know, quite frankly, I think the book could be a good read for almost every demographic. I mean, anybody interested in facing adversity, overcoming challenges. I think we'll find this book can be very motivating and inspiring for them. People who are looking for a good love story, boy, there's nothing better than falling in love when you're in your 50s, getting married, and becoming the father of triplet boys.
Wow.
And for those dealing with the medical profession or the education department and the challenges that face, I think it would appeal to them as well.
Very cool. Now, who's going to play you in the movie?
Well, that I'll leave up to the movie director.
Have you thought about like adapting it to a screenplay?
You know, I've had a lot of people, both friends and relatives, tell me that they think it would make a really good movie and a really good screenplay. I haven't gotten any offers yet, but I'd be certainly willing.
I don't think that's the way it works. I don't think I think you actually have to go out and solicit and push hard for it. I don't think they ever kind of just go. Very rarely, anyway. They just say, "Oh wow, great book! I want to make it into a movie." You got to actually kind of.
Let me ask you a question: the Paul Giamatti that we're friends with on Facebook, is that the real guy?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yes,
that you and I both share on Facebook.
I didn't know that you were on there, but yeah, the Paul Giamatti that I'm from. Why are you asking that now? You want him to play the part?
Well, no. The reason I ask is because he had posted on Facebook he was looking for screenplay ideas, right?
Right.
And I don't have a screenplay, but I had pitched an idea about telling my story. He liked the idea, but said I needed to write something up and send it to him. I said, okay, cool. You already have something written up. You have something, like ready to go. I mean,
yeah, that's what I was kind of alluding to. Hollywood, and even people like Paul, who is interested in making a movie, they're kind of lazy and like, okay, you got a book, but I don't want you got to do the screenplay adaptation and then pitch it to them, and maybe they'll be interested in that kind of stuff. So, have you thought about the adaptation and doing it yourself, or approaching a screenwriter to do it?
I'd prefer a screenwriter to do it. I would like, if it's going to be done, that it be done by a professional.
All right, very cool.
Done right.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, my wife's my biggest advocate, my biggest promoter, and I'm sure she'll work on it.
Oh, well, she should have been on the program here instead of off to the side, and she could be like helping sell it right now to the audience. Right. As far as that stuff goes, I mean, with the promotion of the book, have you been building like a community? Because a big part of this stuff, and I know it's not what you sign up for when you write a book, but it's like anything. You have to kind of follow up with social media and creating community and responding to your readers and all that kind of stuff. I'm building a community buzz around the book. Have you adopted that, or is your wife doing that, or do you have somebody doing that for you?
My wife is doing it, and we know we've already sold more than 500 copies. It's also available on Kindle, and my wife is working to have it available in Europe as well.
Wow,
so
very cool.
She's great at social media and marketing, and she's been working on that.
Now, in Europe, when you mention the word football, they're going to think it's soccer.
Right. Well, let me put it this way. My wife is from Poland.
Oh.
So she's very familiar with what takes place over in Europe and over in Poland.
She's also
relatives there.
Say no more. She's a looker then. She's from Poland. She's gorgeous, right?
She sure is.
Yeah.
So she's
what is it? What's going on in Poland over there? That every Polish woman I've ever seen is just drop dead gorgeous. What's going on with that?
I agree. It's something in the genes. Maybe it's in the water they drink.
All right. Well, we wish you good luck with the book, and thanks for being here. I mean, it is an inspiring story, and I'm not big on like romance and stuff like that, but I do appreciate a happy ending. And
I have a question for you real quick though, Ken.
Sure.
The in vitro fertilization, 3 eggs fertilized. The rest of the eggs, do you still have them? And do you have plans for them?
Yeah, no. What happened was there were only 3 that were fertilized that survived, that were capable of being implanted.
Wow.
Now remember, this was more than 20 years ago. My boy's almost 20 years old. And the doctor said, we're going to be lucky if 1 takes. Wow. So he suggested, since we had 3 viable embryos, to implant all three in the hope that one took. And we were blessed that all three took. And I couldn't be happier or more proud that I have three wonderful, wonderful sons.
What are the odds?
Your sons could do, instead of like Karate Kid, do like maybe Jiu-Jitsu Juniors or something, and like that kind of movie, and tie it into you and that kind of thing, because people love martial arts.
That's true.
They love martial arts, and they also love a hero comeback story, which you have that in your story. They have the martial arts in their story. I'm telling you, you put this to you have the right star. Someone playing you, someone like a black guy with dreads playing you, someone who used to play football, to play you. I think we could do this.
I was
we'd have to put you in whiteface, and that's racist.
Or film
about my story. My three boys are now attending three different colleges in upstate New York. But I graduated from Cornell in 1973. I'm the first quadriplegic to ever graduate from Cornell.
Wow.
50 years later, my son Joey enrolled as a freshman there.
Wow.
So one of my sons is now attending Cornell 50 years after I graduated.
What an incredible accomplishment.
Did you graduate with honors? I'm just saying, did you make it hard for him so that when he goes there, it's like, I'm sorry, your dad had no working legs, no working arms, and he was a straight A student. You have all your appendages working, and you got what, a B+? Get the hell out of here.
Well, I would love to say I graduated with honors. I did not. The best I can say is I graduated. But then I stayed on there. I earned a master's degree there. So I'm also the first quadriplegic to ever earn a graduate degree from Cornell as well.
Very cool. Now, where
so your son doesn't have like big shoes to fill there. If he just graduates, he'll do well. Okay.
Well, right now he's a straight A student, doing great, and he's going to be studying mechanical engineering. I studied industrial engineering. I didn't work as an engineer, but he's studying to be a mechanical engineer.
Wow, it's like our good friend Jackie, who studied to be a mechanical engineer and has been a comedian for the last 50 years. So I'm just curious now, because I forgot about the New York connection. Were you a DA in New York City?
Yeah, I was an assistant district attorney in Nassau County, Long Island.
Nassau County.
I worked there for over 40 years when you count some of my part-time work. I worked there.
Does the name Napo sound familiar?
I'm not a Nassau County guy. I only lived in Nassau County for 6 months out of my life. I'm in Suffolk County.
But what about your dad? I'm talking about your dad.
My dad never lived in Nassau County.
But he did business there, right? He did business there.
Please stop giving out places of interest. Okay, you know the family history. Stop it.
Yeah, but I'm sure that what's it called? That when it expires, when you can no longer be convicted of a crime. What's it called when the time is beyond that?
Statute of limitations.
Statute of limitations. I'm sure that's kicked in for his dad. And
I think he said statute. It's statute.
Dude, they opened up a case from 1973 and they're convicting somebody. Statute of limitations, my ass.
Well, that's only on murder. The other stuff, the other stuff,
right? The mob, murder,
there's statute of limitations for other crimes as well.
Right. I was in Nassau County yesterday, and I spotted a UFO, which I'm going to be sharing the film of on the LIE. You know what? Nassau County traffic, God, it's the worst. It's the worst in the world. I mean, I hate to talk bad about the county. I was still a Nassau County resident?
Yeah, I'm here basically all my life.
Now, why haven't you moved to Florida? I think it's a law that once you get to a certain age, you have to move to Florida. You can't just stay in Nassau County.
Boy, I've thought about it, but the rest of my family is here. And family is everything to me.
Yeah, well, good for you. I appreciate that sentiment very much.
And I wanted to say that I look forward to checking out this book. And
Me too.
I hope that at some point it does get turned into, an audio book or even a movie, so even more people can see it. Because too many folks that are in situations like ours tend to bitch and moan and let it get in the way. It's their number one excuse for why they can't do something instead of the 100 ways they could have done it,
Yeah.
And, whether it's in comedy or anything else in life, like what you've shown that you can do. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Well, people can go to my website, which is
KenCunkin.com,
KenCunkin.com, which will tell you how you could purchase the book. And we're also in the process of completing an audio book, which should be done shortly.
Are you doing the voiceover or somebody?
Yes, I did. In fact, the way we did it was we stayed home. We made a closet into a little recording studio, and my son Timothy, who is studying now at Syracuse University, did the engineering. He did the taping. My wife Anna helped me with it. I did the narration, and now it's in the process of being edited.
Was that an enjoyable process for you?
It was enjoyable to work with my wife and son, certainly. It's a long process.
I know.
And we did it over and over again and did 3 different narrations of the whole book. So it took quite a while.
I try to encourage all authors to do their own narration. I know some of them are shy about it, and some of them don't think they have the greatest speaking voice for it. But I think if you're going to listen to an audio book, it definitely, you can feel it better. You can relate to it better when you know the person narrating it is the actual author and they lived it, or it's their original idea, or whatever it is. It just feels more authentic. So congratulations. You see.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, are you an only child, Ken?
No, in fact, I've got an older brother, Steve, who's 2 years older than me, who lives in Suffolk County, is a lawyer as well. In fact, he was a defense attorney. And I have a sister who's 10 years younger than me, who lives here in Nassau County.
Wow.
But I also have a lot of cousins, aunts, and uncles that are like my extended family that I'm really, really close with. They're like my brothers and sisters as well.
Wow, so I was curious
cool.
because
Nice
I was curious because you have 3 sons. So I'm thinking my 3 sons, and you had a brother named Charlie, so they could have an Uncle Charlie. But
well, I actually have a nephew named Charlie. My brother's name is Steve.
Well, thank you for being part of the program. Let me take the book out before we say goodbye, because it's always a little awkward when we end the conversation and the book is still there. Do you guys know how I do this? Oh yeah, this is how I do this. Anyway, Ken Kunkin. The link is in the description to KenCunkin.com. Make it easy for people. Go there, find out about the book. Stephen's going to be.
One last question.
Go ahead.
Is Ken short for something? Because your last name is K-E-N. I mean, it ends in K-E-N. Your first name is K-E-N. So was that like deliberate plotting on your parents' part? Was say, hey, we've got gold here.
No, my actual name is Kenneth James Kunkin. But I might add that when I was playing football in high school, there was a typo in the program. And instead of putting Ken Kunkin, they put an E instead of a U, and they had it Ken.
So I was say, it almost sounds like
every time it was announced or tackled by Ken, everybody would start laughing, and they'd call me Ken Cubed and other great nicknames.
Well, you're lucky that's what the typo was, because they could have put like the typo instead of the J had a K in there. It would have been KKK, and then.
I'm just thinking with when you introduce yourself, some people may think you're stuttering and say, "What's your name, Ken?" So, it's like, wow, look, he's in a wheelchair and he stutters. Stop it, leave him alone. So,
well, thanks for
introduce myself as Ken.
Well, thank you for being part of the program. Great to have a Long Island guy on the program.
Thank you for having me as a guest.
Good luck with the book. If there's anything we can help to do to help to promote it beyond what we've done here today, just let me know. Happy to assist in any way we can.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We'll get the book, and we will be sharing the book with friends. So thanks for being here. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye for now. Ken Kunkin. See, it sounds like I got a stutter there now. What happened? Who did this? Anyway, yeah, so inspiring story there. I mean,
I think I could play him in the movie. I used to play football. I got injured on the opening play tackle.
You know what? You can play him pre-accident. I can play him post-accident.
The chat room's going crazy over there. I got number 58 different comments here. I guess Matt Tinney's kind of bored. Timney.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening in the chat. I kind of gave up on questioning anything. I just kind of let it roll.
Wow.
No pun intended.
Matt, welcome to the program. I think you're a first-time visitor here. I've never seen your name in the chat.
Actually, I have 3 kids also. Actually, the 2 crippled guys in here have 3 kids.
Were your kids in
Ron
in
has
vitro?
3 kids or 5 kids.
No,
how many
my
kids you have, Ron? 6?
No, 3.
Ron has 3 kids also.
I have 3
No,
kids
my first one was all natural, and then my 2 youngest are stepchildren.
Well, I got 3, but one's dead, so I got 2. How's that for a bummer? Did I bum you out there? Did I bring the energy right down?
No, everybody dies.
Mm.
Matt, I understand what you went through because I lost a cat.
18 years ago?
Well, this is even more pathetic. I had to put my cat down 4 years ago. Oh, for 3.5 years ago. So I understand what you went through when you lost your son.
Just careful here because Ron has trauma from not that long ago with his not cat.
His dog, yeah.
His not cat. I didn't want to say dog. I wanted to say not cat.
I was going to say, listen, I feel you. I had my family dog, who was 16 years old when we had to put him down, had a massive tumor on his side. That one hurt. I mean, that one, like, I actually broke the window at my job when I found out we had to put him down. I was really sad.
Well, my dreams have just died here this morning. My dreams and hopes and aspirations are all just, I don't know if you noticed, but they just passed away before your eyes. So it's that.
And see, Matt Timney, not Matt Napo, but Matt Timney writes in incomplete thoughts and sentences, so I can't follow what he does. And
I know he's just like random words, the riffs.
Yeah,
he's ADHD of the keyboard.
He's like, remember Kelly, how she used to write and we didn't have to translate to English, but at least she tried to complete thought. With Matt, it's like.
Hey, it doesn't. You couldn't make a sentence out of all these things. It's not like it's just like random words here, right?
More kids than you. Yes. Dang, my dog. Like, he sounds like an old guy sitting in the corner talking to himself.
10 Lizzies, yeah. What?
The rogues, the punks, the whites, the blacks, the jinx. You know, he just goes
narrative
all over the place.
Confused. No.
Yeah.
Did you guys?
I didn't sleep last night. Did I mention that? I'm tired.
I didn't sleep much. I really didn't sleep at all.
I was up every 45 minutes or so.
Why?
Did you try peeing before you went
to bed? Is there something going on, Steven? You got issues that are keeping you up? What's the problem?
I haven't been feeling the greatest, but like I just kind of feel a little sick. But I just, for some reason, every 45 minutes I was up checking the phone, seeing what time it was. I was like, shit. And then by the time I got comfortable, my alarm went off.
I get up every 15 minutes to check the news to see if Trump is dead yet. Somebody.
Well, they're working on it. The guy used the United Health.
I'm just thinking McDonald's will do the trick eventually. I mean, I'm not necessarily worrying about a guy with bullet. I'm just thinking he couldn't just have a stroke or just die taking a fucking massive shit.
No, because remember what the doctor, what's her name, Dr.
Bitty Boo.
No, the lady with the health, the dietitian.
I know who you're talking about.
Dr. Vicky. Remember what she said? She says your body adapts. So I'm pretty sure that his body has adapted to all of the McDonald's crap in there. Now, it could kill RFK if he keeps eating out with them because RFK is like a low tolerance for McDonald's. So RFK could die in 2 weeks.
Does anyone else get a weird, creepy vibe from Barron Trump?
I get a creepy vibe from the entire Trump family.
He's like 6 foot.
Oh, wait, Matt's got a full sentence here. Wait a minute. Let's check this out. The Warriors, come out and play. Warriors, the movie from the book by Sal Yorick, an adaptation that turned into a cult classic. Understand Me Now?
No. Absolutely fucking not. I don't know what that has to do with.
I'm wondering if Matt even knows he's in the chat room. Like, he might be on Facebook thinking he's talking with other people. I don't know.
I'm still just sick of this Sal Yorick bullshit still. I mean, just fucking let it go.
Who's Sal Yorick? What do you mean? I don't get it. Who is Sal Yorick?
He does either. It was just the point.
Wasn't Sal Yorick from the Usual Suspects?
That's what that comment said. It said something about Sal Yorick, the author.
Right. I got to look up Sal Yorick. What the hell is a Sal Yorick? Who's the Sal Yorick? What?
Now, what was the name of the guy from Warriors that just died? The one that played Chief? The one that played Chief and Warriors. He just died like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, right. There's somebody
So
from the
I
Warriors.
have a working theory that Barron Trump is not Trump's son, but he's a clone of Donald Trump. I mean, he's everything. Look, if you listen to all the descriptions that Trump used to describe himself by, I'm the tallest, I'm the strongest, I'm the best looking, right? Barron Trump is 6'7", right? He looks solid. He sounds just like his dad.
He doesn't look solid. He looks like a twink.
He looks a little frail, to be honest. He looks a little frail. Yeah. But he's outside of his frailness, though. Like, he sounds like him. He has the same cadence when he talks. It's really weird. I don't like it.
Oh, Sal Yorick wrote the book, The Warriors. That's
Yeah.
We've had. All right. I did not know that. I didn't even know there was a book.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Warriors.
This is back when Hollywood. This is back when Hollywood used to work for a living.
You know why they couldn't? They can't remake that movie.
Beer bottles. They don't make glass beer bottles anymore.
Right. They don't make those little ones because they had those 7-ounce nips. They don't make those 7-ounce nips anymore. The Warriors, come out and play. So you'd have to do it with like 12 ounce, and that would be a little awkward.
Or 40s. Do it the 40.
You can use Modelo bottles.
Oh, there you go.
There
See,
you go.
Ron's a thinker. Yeah. Ron's a thinker. This is why we have.
Because he doesn't drink white guy beer. He only drinks Modelo's and Corona.
Yeah. What do you mean white
See,
guys?
because I would think you'd have to do it with a can.
I think first of all, I think all white guys drink Corona. And when COVID happened, and it was originally known as coronavirus, everybody switched to Modelo just because.
That was a bad run of luck for Corona.
Imagine they called it the Budweiser virus.
Well, you think that's fucked up? There were several businesses that had the name ISIS in it, and then all of a sudden ISIS was like world enemy #1. They had the same problem. Oh, poor guys.
So now the people at Corona in their brewery, they are working on the virus. They want to call it the Bud Light virus, just so they can get their customers back.
No, the Bud Light virus is gay. That's
so they want the Modelo virus. Okay, so they want the Modelo virus so they can get their clients back.
No, they're probably going to go after Coors.
Oh, the Coors virus. Oh.
Matt is well read on like New York culture wars of the 70s type stuff. Sal Yorick wrote The Warriors in the same year. Hubert Selby Jr. wrote Last Exit to Brooklyn. None beat writing. Kid Rock wrote.
See, he starts out so lucid, and then he gets toward the end and goes like, Brooklyn, non-beat writing. I don't know what non-beat writing means.
Maybe. Writing. I think the movies don't beat the writing. I get that's what I was thinking that meant. Yeah, it's cryptic. It's cryptic, don't you think?
Yeah, I think he starts out lucid, and toward the end of the sentence, he's like, "I give up."
Yeah,
so Matt, you saw UFO.
I'm reading. Let me. Tomorrow we have Andy Page, who's on General Hospital and QVC at the same time. Yeah, she's been scheduled twice before, and it's rescheduled. But I think she's going to be on here tomorrow. And another woman. Hold on a second. I got to see who else is on the program. But Elizabeth might also. I might try to squeeze her in. I might try to squeeze her in tomorrow. Yeah, Susan Hensley. I forget what Susan's deal is. She's probably an author. I'll figure it out tonight. But her and Andy Page are due tomorrow. And maybe Lizzie Croydon, who gave her mother 50 whacks. But she won't give me a whack at all. So, are you excited about that? Do you guys see in the news? I wanted to ask you about this because on trending on Twitter, it says his IQ is 73. Now, you don't even have to look into that to know who the he is, right? When they say his IQ is
we're talking about Donald Trump.
But what I love is the defense is like, no, if he was at a 73, he'd be in a hospital.
There's no IQ test to run for office. That's why they've elected dogs in some towns as mayor.
Right. So the story is one of his administrators at the school, New York Military Academy, where he went to high school, because he was an uncontrollable kid, and his father put him in that. He took an IQ test there, and it was in a closet in a box, and this guy found it and sent it to a paper or something, and they're publishing it now. But the MAGA people are freaking out, like, don't you dare call my daddy stupid. But I think 73 is beyond stupid. I mean, that's really like.
Let me ask Grok what the average IQ is of the American.
I think it's 98. Like
that sounds right.
It's been changed. It'll say 72 right now.
Yeah. So, but it's like a big thing now. Like they're fighting over, like defending daddy's intelligence. Listen, he's got his vocabulary is that of like a fourth grade level or something, right? So I mean,
but he's gotten better. He's gotten better because what he's done is he has taken his handicap, so to speak, and made it a norm so that it's acceptable to his followers, so that it's kind of like when back in the old days, if the king had a stutter, if the king had a stutter, then the rest of the townspeople would stutter as well, so that the king would sound normal. Or if the king had a mole, everybody would grow a mole, so they could the king, or what mole, that kind of thing.
Are you making fun of my mole?
No, I was just trying to.
You're making fun of my mole, aren't you?
I don't even see your mole.
That's because it's hidden behind a mustache. It's the only reason for the mustache existence.
Right. See, so I don't think about your mole. It's not everything's about you, Matt. Some things are just about people.
No, everything is about me. I think you're wrong there.
Guys, I think I'm going to look like
when Matt Timney says Hemingway, he's talking about me. He's like,
and when he says big green shirt, he's talking about you.
What did he say? Big green shirt.
Big green shirt. He's talking about you.
I think he's talking about Steven. Wait, he might.
No, you said everything is about you. So big.
Yeah, but he's talking about Steven in relation to me.
You. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it is about me, but it's also about Steven. It's about me being Steven, or Steven trying to be me.
And when he says Elephant Man, he's talking about you.
Yes.
I mean, I can see the resemblance, but I didn't know he was actually talking about you.
No, because he was thinking about my tusks being white gold.
That's a stretch.
Fucking what?
That's a stretch.
You challenged a
quadriplegic. Don't be surprised that he challenged a quadriplegic. He challenges a paraplegic all the time.
Wait, I challenged him to what? What did I challenge?
I don't know. I don't remember you challenging him, but I wouldn't be shocked either.
What he didn't do was when Ken was talking about when Ken mentioned Constitution, Matt didn't go Constitution. He didn't do that. So I was thinking,
did he say the word Constitution?
Yes,
and I missed it?
Yeah.
I think he said we have a wonderful system. I didn't hear him say the
the Constitution, and then he went on to talk about the law and then the system. And it's not perfect,
Constitution.
No, it's a little late now. You done cowered up.
I just want to point out.
No, it's too late. It's too late. The
game
is over. The clock ran out. The game is over.
All right, shut up.
Players are in the locker room.
I'm not saying the Constitution. I want to point out something different about this white gold stuff, because this is a flyer for Belief, which is a dispensary that opened up here, and they do have the white weed, and they're calling it white gold, and it's $52 for an eighth. And I was thinking, white weed, maybe on my way home from Nassau County, it was worth a stop in Calverton.
Now, does that flyer give you like a discount?
No, it's just an announcement that they're open. Listen, where I am.
We see where you are. There's a sign right there.
I was thinking of Instant Messenger. There are the closest real dispensary other than Puspatuk, where you can buy recreational weed. It's just over the Suffolk County border, so it's like 45 miles away from here. This one is within 10 miles, so it's relatively close. So it's big news. It's like a big celebration here. But I have the Puspatuk, where here it's $52 for an eighth. At Puspatuk, it's like $45 for a quarter or $35 for a quarter. So why would I, travel a little extra to Puspatuk and go, whoa, give me a quarter for half.
But you're also been adopted by the Uncle Chubby clan. So
adopted is probably a little bit. I think you meant to say rejected.
I thought they took you in. I thought they gave you like a whole ritual.
Yeah, I thought you were
and everything.
No, I was self-proclaiming, but I don't think they went along with it. I would love to be considered. I would love to be
ceremony. I thought you had a ceremony back in November, like on the 17th or something.
No, it's kind of I was supposed to go to that dopey little thing. I didn't go to that thing, but I think they're kind of like cats. If they rub their face on you, they welcome you into the tribe, like that kind of thing.
I don't think it's their face that they rub on you to welcome you in. I think it's the other end. The other.
Nobody rubbed anything on me. Unfortunately, I would welcome a Poospatuk rub.
Well, they do have a rub and tug sale this week. If you buy a quarter, they give you a rub and tug free.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's worth the extra. That's worth the extra commute down south past Belief.
I do have some showbiz.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank Ron. Thank God. Thank everybody. Sure, why not? I thought Matt Timney was getting excited about this. Are there any lawyers in the show business? No, because any authors? Because Matt Timney is excited about books today, and no.
No,
this
is more music.
And now, bringing you the latest in entertainment news from Hollywood, New York, and East Bumfuck, Montana. Here's our chief entertainment correspondent, Ron Kane. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Showbiz.
The top of this is Crisco butter oil, Crisco vegetable oil. I'm sorry. Where if you walk in and your dad is asking for it, you know you're in the Kane household.
Yes. Yeah, it's Thursday, everybody. So open up those throat holes and swallow it down. Yeah. So
What do you mean, drinking like raw vegetable oil? That would be pretty gross.
You could. It's whatever you're into. So this is Debbie Nelson. This is Eminem's mom. She passed away. If you know anything about his music, she has been referenced a lot. He has made songs about her. They didn't really have a great relationship, but it was notable that she passed away.
Her spaghetti would leave a stain on your t-shirt, right?
It would leave. Well, it's vomit on your sweater. Mom spaghetti.
I don't get it. Well,
I don't know. All I remember him quoting is, "How dare you try to take what you didn't help me to get, you selfish bitch. I hope you fucking burn in hell for the shit."
Wow.
It was a reference to his mom. So yeah, he didn't like her.
But she was.
But other than that, they were cool, right? Other than that, they were good.
Ready to drop bombs already. But she was 69 now. Debbie Nelson.
Nice.
Sorry. I don't know.
I haven't slept in a while. Can you tell?
Yeah. All right. So this is Jack Veal. He's a 17-year-old actor who appeared as Kid Loki in season 1 of Marvel's Loki series. He is currently homeless and living on the streets. Apparently, his parents have not been great to him, and there's history of abuse and things like that. So if you're looking for a working actor or that doesn't have a home, this is your guy.
The movie don't pay that well, I guess. He's homeless. He couldn't save enough for a studio apartment or a fucking tent or a box.
It wasn't even a movie. It was in a series.
The Disney series. Yeah, Disney series. Yeah. But still, you think that would have paid enough for him to have a cardboard box or something?
Studio apartment.
You figure they probably got him on the cheap, and so let's just say they spent, I don't know, $20,000. Maybe they gave him $20,000, depending on how big his role was. Then you take out,
I don't even remember him.
The taxes and the agent. Then you're probably left with what, 12,000-13,000, and then in LA, that's nothing.
And then also his parents may have taken some of it.
Yeah,
I'm thinking if you're a child actor, stay away from Disney. They have a terrible record, man. It's like 1 out of 10 Disney kids grow up to be real people.
I saw
successful
this.
people.
I saw this clip yesterday, and it was Roy Wood Jr. talking to Kevin Hart, and they were talking about like coming up in comedy. And Roy Wood was talking about how he pissed off this booker in the southern part of the country, which was like 80% of his gigs. And so he's like, I was getting these gigs that were paying like $150 as a feature. So he's like, this is at the time, this is great money. But then this booker got mad at him. Then Roy lucked out, and he got he got into this college commission, and he got 90 gigs out of it, and they each paid $1,000 each. So he made like 90 grand. And so he said he had all this money. He went out to LA, and he said that fucking 90 grand did not last long at all. And he was poor in no time again.
If we could pass this on to Jack Veal. Mark Jacobs is casting a shoot today. And it doesn't say what the part is, but it pays $3,500, which is enough to get you a cheap motel room in LA for a night. So,
okay.
I got that. I get casting calls. I just got a text an hour ago.
If I remember, that kid only had maybe 6 minutes on screen.
Most streamed artists.
All right, so yesterday or the other day, Spotify 2024 Wrap came out, and so this is always interesting to see who's streaming who statistic wise. So of course, Taylor Swift is number 1, then Drake, and Zach Bryan was number 3, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, because I don't know who Zach Bryan is. It's funny. They're the top 10. I think I know 5 of the names, but
I don't know Zach Bryan either.
Like. But I only know what 4 of them look like.
I don't know who Zach Bryan or Metro Boomin is.
Yeah, and I know the name The Weeknd. I don't know what he looks like.
It doesn't sound like somebody's name. It sounds like a train that is getting bombed. Whatever.
So, yeah, so it's no surprise that T Swift is number 1, and it's not surprising that GD doesn't know most of these people.
Yeah, too bad
and so this is the U.S. most streamed songs. Number 1 was "Espresso" by Sabrina Carpenter. Do you guys know that song at all? I mean,
not even a fucking little bit. Not one note. What? Go ahead, hum a bar for me. A bar.
For which song?
Espresso.
No fucking clue.
I don't know any of these songs. I mean, $1 Million Baby sounds like.
No, let me hum one bar.
No, I mean, I know some songs with the same title, like $1 Million Baby. I think that Alice Cooper had a song called $1 Million Baby.
All right. Well, just to remind everybody, this is 2024 and not 1975. Alice Cooper.
How come? Wait, there's no Crack the Sky in this fucking thing.
Yeah, the was Tipsy by Shabuzi. That I'm actually surprised that wasn't number 1. I heard that.
Me too. Yeah.
Then this I Had Some Help by Morgan Wallen, and that song is terrible. Like, help.
Everything that guy does is just it's a guy. It seems like a guy. Morgan Wallen or whatever his name is. It's just
this has to be the first year that Luke Combs hasn't been on this list. And it's quite some time. I feel like he was a big deal for a while.
Yeah, I guess if you for I don't know, those country guys, they seem to burn faster than rappers, actually.
They do, yeah. But because Luke Combs, the thing is, I think Luke Combs is kind of, his fan base is kind of more, his sound has gotten more classic country, and all the stadium bullshit, fucking jacked up trucks with tiny dick guys don't listen to it as much anymore. That he's
they're all fucking meth heads. This is the problem with these country guys. They're all like the rappers are crackheads, which I think crack is a safer drug than meth. Meth just makes you like fucking. I don't know.
But that number 1, Sabrina Carpenter, she is.
Is that her in the picture there?
Yes.
Does she want my cock?
No,
probably not, Grandpa. But anyway,
all right. I just wonder because I'm giving it away.
If you want to like this song is not bad. It's just a regular pop song. But if you watch her on Hot Ones, yeah, she is.
Are the lyrics "I want mine dog's cock" in the song at all?
No,
Well,
it's a great
that's
pop
espresso.
song.
That's what espresso is, a small cup. So yes, it is in there.
It's a #1 song that has the word "fuck" in it. So that's
And do they bleep that on the air or?
On radio, but who's listening to radio? So this is the U.S. most streamed albums. Of course, T Swift #1, and we got Morgan Wallen, Sabrina Carpenter is in there, who we just seen, Chappell Ronan, and Billie Eilish, SZA, and Taylor Swift rounds out the top 10 again.
No,
Who the fuck is SZA?
Wait,
I don't know, but you don't run with him. Don't run with SZA.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to the 1982 Music Hour.
Yeah, really.
No, I just don't. Here's the thing. I may have heard this. My wife listens to all this new shit. If it's in the car, I may have heard it. I just don't know the names of the songs or the artists because who fucking cares? But I don't know.
I thought Billie Eilish was like the biggest thing in the world now. I'm wrong about that, but she's on the list. But she's not like bigger than Taylor.
No, she has
bigger than Taylor's.
Billie Eilish has a fun song with Charlie XTX called "Panties," and that's a great song. It's a fun song.
You would like that.
Most viral songs globally. #1 is this "Die with a Smile" by Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga. And
you know, I got to tell you, yesterday I played Nursing Home, and as I was getting in the elevator to leave, she said, "You got to play more Bruno Mars." Like, like 90 years old, telling me I got to play more Bruno Mars. I don't.
That song will make any woman of anything by Bruno Mars will make any woman of any age moist as fuck, Niagara Falls style, dude. I mean, dude, you can find a grandma that's fucking been sealed shut like something from Indiana Jones, but you play that shit, she's gonna open wide up. It's disgusting.
I think he would have been the only one happy if I would have. I mean, most of the people were basically this close to death anyway, so they couldn't even. All they cared that somebody with a guitar over there. I don't care if he's singing or playing, whatever. I think she would have been the only one even knowing.
Well, you probably started playing that Pink Floyd song, and she was probably like, "Hey, go fuck yourself with this. I'm almost dead. I want to hear something from this century."
I don't know. I go with the old folks. I was playing Bing Crosby. I opened with a Bing Crosby song. So
did they talk about how much he liked beating his kids? I'm beating my boys.
Yeah.
If you want, for people out there, if you like child abuse, look up Bing Crosby.
and make sure you have a nice glass of Minute Maid orange juice while you're looking that up.
Yeah, exactly.
Another piece of nice glass of juice in the morning.
And here we go. The top podcast.
Fuck Joe Rogan. I'm sorry.
And of course, Rogan's up there. Call her daddy.
Tucker Carlson.
Yep. Theo Vaughn.
Sean Ryan.
Wait, let me see who's not on here. Well, Theo Vaughn. Come on, man. I don't get it.
Have any of you guys ever watched the Sean Ryan show?
I don't even.
I have not watched any of those shows.
Okay, so the Sean Ryan show. Imagine Joe Rogan on extremely high sedatives, who believes everything he also hears, and advertises
so he's slow, dumb, and
like
gullible.
Yes, and he shares every
dumb and gullible.
So he's like,
Are you a retard?
Yes, because here's the thing. It's like Alex Jones and Joe Rogan had a retarded little slow baby. And he's always like this. He goes, "So you worked with aliens as they were in Area 51. Can you explain that experience?"
I didn't even know Dax Shepard had a podcast. I'm gonna have to check that one out. The other ones are these. I know. Call her daddy. That, but I don't get what the appeal is.
Ooh, Smosh reads Reddit stories. I know Smosh. I haven't heard their podcast, but I bet that's good.
You know, Hawk Tua has a pod now, and she's getting quite a few like big name people to do her. She had Mark Cuban on the other day. Like, you know.
Yeah, someone is putting a lot of money behind her.
Yeah, I'm putting something behind her, but it's not money.
So that there you go. Those are the top podcasts. Oh yeah, this is a one I found interesting. U.S. top most anticipated podcast launches of this year. So the number one was Mind Game with LeBron James and JJ Redick.
I don't understand. What do you mean most anticipated? You mean people are talking about this even though it's not out yet?
Now these are podcasts that launched this year.
Talk to Her is on there, right? With
Yes.
I didn't even know she had a real name, Haley Welch. Okay.
Yeah, she was number 2. Doing a number 3 became a number 2.
Wow.
And then, oops, yeah.
People have been all calling me number 2 for a long time, but I didn't know what they actually meant by that.
This came out also. Billboard has named Beyonce the greatest pop star of the 21st century.
Isn't it a little early to make that call?
No, because the Illuminati is making their moves. That's why all of these celebrities are thanking Beyonce at their award ceremonies. It's all a conspiracy.
But what about 2085, let's say, and there's, I don't know, Dick Hertz is the biggest pop star in the world.
2085 it'll be Kanye West's kid. I promise you.
Anyway. Dick Hertz is Kanye West's kid. That's what I was talking about.
There you go.
All right.
So there you go.
I mean, it's a little early to make this call.
There's another Netflix special out. Fortune Feemster has her new Netflix special out.
Never heard of her, and that I feel bad about that.
She's pretty funny. She's pretty good.
She's very funny.
Yeah, I've heard of her.
I like her a lot.
Yeah,
she's one. She was on. She's been on Kill Tony, and she's been on Dr. Phil. She's been all over the place. She's been on Bad Friends. She's really funny. I like her a lot.
I should say she's. What I remember of her, she's funny. So I can't remember her material now, but I remember enjoying her somewhat.
Can you get her on this show?
Probably not.
Sure.
All right, work on that for tomorrow.
Well, she does a podcast with Tom Papa, so probably not.
I know Tom Papa.
Well, you asked him then.
I don't feel so clueless now. I know Tom Papa. Come to Papa. All right means we can move on. All right.
And enjoy the suffering, everybody.
Now, looks like a donkey coming out of a donut. What is that? A donkey?
Donkey donut. Yeah, donkey donut.
No, I actually put in butter me with Crisco and call me a mule in the AI, and this is what it came back.
So it gave you a fucked up donut on a mule.
Wow.
So enjoy your Thursday, everybody. Crisco is on sale. Please get it. It'll make your weekend that much more enjoyable.
Crisco now available with vegan juice.
Can you buy crypto with Fisto?
You can buy Crisco. I was gonna say, can you buy Crisco with Fisto? So I guess that would make it a smooth transaction.
You were gonna say it, but I said it.
You beat me to it.
The Count of Monte Fisto.
I challenged a quadriplegic. No, you're not a quadriplegic. And the last guy wasn't a quadriplegic either. I think he just lost use of his leg.
No, he was quadriplegic. He couldn't use his arms or legs.
I don't know. I could have sworn he gave me the finger. Well, maybe that was one of you guys. Somebody gave me the finger.
No,
but he's a self-proclaimed quadriplegic. He has actually got full use of all of his limbs, but he identifies as a quadriplegic.
Speaking of giving a finger, you might find this interesting. Yesterday, I was on the New York Southern State Parkway, caught in bumper-to-bumper traffic, not moving at all. And I was looking at my phone to see if I could.
We gotta get rid of Govs. Govs, huh? It's 11:18. Govs.
Oh, fuck that. They'd probably kick this.